I was working around with this riff in the key of F sharp minor, but I knew I wanted to move from that main riff to this other riff that I thought would do good as a verse riff, but that riff really sounded better in the key of C sharp minor than staying in F sharp minor. And since the chord C sharp minor is a chord that you can find both in the key of F sharp minor and C sharp minor, by ending my main riff in a C sharp minor chord, it then left me in a cool way where I can just pick it up again in that chord, but seamlessly transition into a different key where I move to a new section. Here's the example of what I'm talking about. These are, by the way, riffs of my latest release song, Fossil, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere to listen to your music at. And yeah, I indeed do this weird rhythm, and I do add these extensions to the C sharp minor chord, where I'm doing a regular C sharp minor chord, a C sharp minor 6, a C sharp minor 7, then a C sharp minor major 7, but deep down, those are all just C sharp minor. And at least in my opinion, it sounded cool, gave me the vibe that I was looking for, and like I mentioned before, led me to the different riff/section that I was wanting to do. But later on in the song, I'm doing the same main riff, and at the end of it, I wanted to move to a different riff that actually stayed in the key of F sharp minor rather than moving into a different key. And I kinda didn't want to change my main riff too much, so what I decided to do was when I got to that section at the end with the C sharp minor chord, I would do the exact same thing with the same shape, but instead of doing a C sharp minor chord, I would do a C sharp major chord, because that C sharp major chord would then resolve itself way better to F sharp minor than a regular C sharp minor would. And it isn't really that big of a change because, again, the notes of C sharp minor to the chord of C sharp major are pretty much the same, just that E switches into an E sharp, which, again, I know that E sharp doesn't exist, would be an F, but in this case, functionally, it's an E sharp, but let's not really talk about that too much. It's just really that one note that changes, but because all the other extensions sound completely different over a minor chord than you do a major chord, while you listen to this new section, it kinda gives you a familiar and similar vibe as you did before, which gives this song a little bit more cohesion than just throwing riffs into it, but it also sparks a different vibe in you because, again, they are different chords. And I actually ended up doing a similar thing with other riffs in the song and different song sections. Like there's this riff that I start the song in that is in the key of F sharp minor, and that riff goes over a bunch of chords, but it usually finishes over a C sharp major chord so that it resolves itself back to F sharp minor. But I use that riff in different sections of the song, and there's even a section where I'm going through that F sharp minor riff back to the verse riff in C sharp minor. And in that one, I actually switched up the order of the chords in there so that instead of finishing in the C sharp major chord, I actually finish in a B major chord, so I resolve from B major to C sharp minor. And I know that this might be a little bit too heavy on music theory for some of you, but I'm mostly sharing this to give you a different perspective of next time you're trying to work on a riff and you think it sounds cool, but you kind of want it to have a different function within the song, you can maybe change it not too much and still have it accomplish whatever you're trying to do, and who knows, perhaps you even get a whole different vibe that you weren't expecting just from slightly modifying that riff, or, like I mentioned before, if that is the opposite that you want to do, using the same technique, you can keep the riff basically mostly the same, but still accomplish whatever your goals are to transition into a new section, or a different key, or whatever vibe you're trying to achieve. Let me know if this is something you do often, and while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week, and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you've enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Fossil, anywhere you listen to your music at, and I want to once again take the time to thank you guys so much for all the support in these songs and videos. I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers!